I'm Chris McDonough, a retired homicide detective. I've interviewed thousands of people, from serial killers to ministers. Welcome to the interview room. Hey, aloha, everybody. Welcome this evening to the interview room with Chris McDonough. I have a really special guest, as you can see. Right next to me here, I have Thomas Owen. Tom, welcome this evening to the interview room.
Thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for all you've done on this case for Suzanne and the family.
You're a gentleman, my friend, and we're grateful to have you here. I just want you to know that, right now we have just people from all over the world here. I mean, from the UK to Ireland to Australia, Nova Scotia, they're all here for your sister. And so, folks, I just want to let everybody know I'm broadcasting from my truck. As you guys know, I've been having some wonker Wi-Fi recently, so I threw a green screen up of my Airstream, but I'm literally sitting in my truck. So I hope everything is working correctly. Give me a 1 if you can make sure you can hear me correctly. Okay, we're looking good. I tell you, LA's in the house, all of our mods in the house, Maui, Crystal G, Miss Sophia, we just absolutely love you guys. This is going to be a very special program this evening. I feel honored to have Tom here and to talk about Suzanne. So here's how we're going to break it down. And Sydney's in the house. Good day from in Australia. And so here's how we're going to break it down. Those of you who don't know, Suzanne's stepbrother is also an accomplished actor. And he has been on all kinds of television shows like NCIS. Well, Tom, tell us about your career. Let's start there for a minute.
Well, I moved out here, I think how long I've been here, 19 years. I went to college for acting, Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, near my hometown and Suzanne's hometown. And I went to New York, studied acting. Then I moved out to, worked in Chicago, Dallas, Portland, Oregon, doing theater mostly. And then I came out here about, 19 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been 19 years. And I've done, a lot of small parts in movies and television shows. People versus O.J. Simpson, NCIS NOLA was the last thing I did in New Orleans. And I just did a documentary called Inside. Actually, the last thing I did a documentary called Inside Beverly Hills. That's going to be aired only in the UK, though, on Channel 4. So all the UK audience members out there, look out for that coming at the end of the year. So, yeah, I made the big move from, the small town in Indiana and with Dream, and I came out here, and I'm still plugging away. So I've been pretty lucky and fortunate so far. And, yeah.
You got that LA vibe. I'm sure you've kind of set into that, right? We know that one.
Yeah, I got the LA vibe, but I got to tell you, I never forget where I'm from. And I was in New Orleans recently last year. I was down there for a year, working and auditioning, and I love that city as well. So a shout out to all my peeps down there in New Orleans. We love you. Yeah, I got the LA. Today is a beautiful day, as you know, Mike. I mean, I think you're down towards San Diego way, and it's beautiful here in East Hollywood. So very blessed with the weather today.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful day here in SoCal. So that said, another shout out to Maya Miliete's family. Tomorrow there's going to be a search at 8:30 in the morning, and let me give an address to folks that are interested in showing up. It's going to be at 2335 Paseo, Veracruz in Chula Vista. 2335 Paseo, Veracruz, Chula Vista, and they're going to meet at 8:30 in the morning, and then from there they're going to assemble, and there's some specific areas that are going to be searched tomorrow. So if you get a chance and you're available, they can use your help in the morning. Hey, so that said, Thomas, I got to tell you, buddy, we have absolutely just adore your family, and so I want to just start off, our conversation tonight, just letting everybody know that we're going to talk about Suzanne first, and then we're going to talk about. Well, actually, let's talk about Suzanne first,
okay,
and then let's talk about Barry, okay, and those dynamics between them and how you guys all, grew up, that situation. And then, are you good with taking questions? I'm on our channel here, we like to ask you, if you'd be good to answer some questions from our audience. So that's kind of the flow that will go here. So I got to tell you, I know that the world has fallen in love and support with your wonderful family. Andy has been, and Melinda, but I know that you've been in communication with them, and that's why, we're having this conversation this evening as well. So kind of fill everybody into those dynamics here.
Sure. So my father married Andrew and Melinda and Suzanne's mother back in the 90s. And pardon me if you hear sirens, I'm close to it.
That's all right. You're in LA. In LA. I get it.
And so I became, they became my stepfamily. And Suzanne is the youngest of that family, and I'm the youngest of mine. Suzanne is a few years younger than me. But what I can say about the family is it was, sometimes step families can be awkward. Like sometimes there's a little bit of strange dynamics, but I got to tell you, the Mormons, it's just, poof. I mean, total acceptance. You're in the family, and just really good people. I mean, really, honestly, genuinely good people. And Suzanne, I said this, I was on Mike's show, I said this, everybody loves Suzanne. And so this is no new phenomenon. This was been all the way through her life. She's just been like this radiant light. I've known her since just at the high school. I'm at the end of my high school. She's in high school. I've known her that long, and really got to know her really well, obviously, with the family dynamics. And she's just a radiant beam of light, always there for her friends. Nobody disliked her that I know of, but literally no one. And I've said this before. It's like, you meet some people in your life where you just like them instantly, not because of how successful they are or how much money they have or what they drive or any of that other BS. You tap into their soul. And Suzanne was just that kind of person. And forgive me because I mentioned earlier, it's hard for me to get used to using past tense. But she was that kind of person. She would help you in any way that she could. She didn't preach to you. She didn't judge you. She just wanted to find a solution for you to maybe make you happier. That's how she rolled. And she never did it for notoriety. She never did something and said, well, I did this, or even mentioned it. She would do things for people that people don't even know, because that's just how she operated. A true bright light. And growing up with where we grew up, so the people who don't know, we grew up in a very, very small town, Alexandria, Indiana, and it's actually officially labeled Small Town USA. I know Chris had gone in and done a wonderful episode there in our town.
Did I nail that piece?
You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. And the only difference is that, unfortunately, when you went, you're seeing the end of what was.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a ghost town now, like a lot of the other small towns across our country, in the Rust Belt and in the Midwest, and a lot of places, unfortunately. But then it was still hanging on, still kind of a lot of young people, a lot of good things. Well, it still has a lot of things going. I'm not trying to disparage. There's still people are still doing some wonderful things there in LA. It's still a great place to live, and raise a family. But so we grew up in a very, very small town. Everybody knows everybody else. And my father was the physician in that town, and in Anderson, the town next to us. Okay. So,
so was your dad like the town doctor?
Correct. He was there. He was born. He was born in Windfall, Indiana, and he moved there, and he was the doctor, hometown guy. Okay. And so everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew my dad, and I told this story before where first time I met Suzanne, we do a thing called cruising in Alexandria, Indiana, down Harrison Street.
I heard all about that. In fact, in that video that we did,
that was a big thing.
That was a big thing.
That was like I mentioned. This was our social media. Okay. So we would drive 3 stoplight town. We pull in a parking lot, and people would just say, "Hey, that's what we did." And the first time I really got to meet Suzanne was this car. I was in my buddy's '69 Chevelle, and this car pulls up next to us, a lot of pretty girls, younger. And they said, "Hi," and they go, "Hey, Tommy Owen." And I looked to my right, and there was just really pretty girls saying hi. And I'm like, "Hi." I go, "Do I know you?" She's like, "Well, I don't know, but my mom is dating your dad." so that. And the thing I say is this, and this is the thing. I thought she wasn't flirting, okay?
Right.
That's just Suzanne knowing who I was, and she wanted to make sure that she said hello, and that she introduced herself. And it's a couple years later, they're married, and we're in a family together, and holidays and whatnot, and just the house that you had on your episode there, right in Fairway Estates, right on the golf course. So it was an idyllic,
the blue house.
The blue house. It wasn't blue at the time. I believe it was brick and another color too. But that's the house on the golf course, and that's the golf course that I grew up on. Golf course that we would sneak on at night, and nothing nefarious, just doing what kids do, and I'd fish those golf course ponds, and that's just that's where we came from. And Suzanne was respected and loved by everybody. She had her head on straight, and Melinda had said something before. I believe it was Melinda that said that she was the rose and the thorns, which was such a beautiful thing to say and very poetic. Not that the other kids are thorns. It's not that. But in their mind, she was just that special a person in the family, Yeah. And so it's just hard, Chris. It's just hard. It's hard when anybody goes, when anybody's gone. But it's just so surreal to wrap my head around, and the family to wrap their head around this just horrific thing. But here we are.
Yeah, no, and there's no trying to explain it. I mean, I tell people, all the time of, some of the families that I've worked with, over the years, that don't try to make sense of it, because you won't be able to make sense of it. I mean, we always talk about this idea of, well, could I have done something? Should I? Would I? Could I? And you can't. Oh, here's Duty Ron, by the way. If you've not met Duty Ron, he's an NYPD detective, a dear friend. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate you, jumping up here. And
thanks,
I'll connect you guys too, because I think he's also got a wonderful audience, and he'd probably love to have you over there as well. So, anyway, where I was going with that is, sometimes, as in life, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'll share with you a personal experience. My wife and I, we lost a 20-year-old son in 2003.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Well, and I only share it with you not to,
Right.
to say, anything other than we were at Disneyland when it happened, and he passed away in an accident. And, that's like the happiest place on earth. And my phone rings, and, I don't remember anything from that point forward, to be honest with you. But that said, that the process that you're going through, knowing but not knowing, will not make any sense. It will not make any sense. So, God bless you. But one of the things that I really admire about your family is how classy you guys have been. You have kept her memory classy, and I hate to say it like that, but the reality is Barry's in custody for taking her life, and I know that's a difficult thought process, but that's reality, right? And so really some of the hardest part of this is still starting, because there's a possibility, as we go down the lane here, that the defense is going to come up with all kinds of thought process, right? They're going to and I love that sound, by the way. It's music to my ears. But sometimes in these kind of cases, circumstantial case, God forbid, but it's reality sometimes. Your sister could go on trial here.
Yeah, I know.
And that if the defense, if they see that this, bag of worms is stacked against Barry, and I think, by the way, the fact that we have all these great, wonderful people in our community, in the YouTube community here in chat, I mean, they love you. They love your family. And, for all of us, it's going to be, you got to be kidding me. But it's a possibility. And I want to brace people for that, potentially going down the lane here. So let's talk about, that golf course and how you guys, what did you do as, I know you guys cruise, and I found that pretty fascinating. I was talking to one of Barry's closest friends. He used to use a dumbbell while he'd be driving with his left hand, and in his right arm, he'd be using a dumbbell in the car. Now, you knew Barry, so tell us that piece.
Yeah, Barry was a couple years younger than me. He had a really nice, this Cutlass Supreme, red, and that was his pride and joy. And I mean, Barry was the golden child. I mean, he was the star athlete, baseball player. I mean, he probably could have been a star football player as well. I mean, the guy was super gifted athletically. And his father was very sports-minded, and he drove him. Mm-hmm. He made him practice every single day. And I mean,
break that down a little bit more for us. What did you see, and what do you remember?
Well, I remember that it was for Barry. It was what I remember is it was baseball practice. Barry's dad had a batting cage set up, and a couple of my other friends that were younger and playing baseball would be over there and running drills. It was serious business. I mean, it wasn't just fun. It was like, you're here to get better. And God bless him for doing that. I mean, his dad, he was trying to, but for Barry, it was, Barry's existence was hunting and fishing and trapping in the woods around our county in Alexandria growing up. I've hunted and I've fished some of the same spots. A couple of my friends have trapped the same spots that he's, around Cunningham School where you were, out off 11th Street, 1100 North, and all those, that whole area. That's him growing up. And Barry is one of the best woodsmen I know. I mean, this guy developed into no problem. You know, you see those shows where they drop people off in the wilderness and leave them alone and see if they can survive. This would be no problem for Barry. This would be no problem.
Yeah, and why help break that down? Help me understand that a little
because
bit.
This is what he did. You know, a lot of other guys were like, we'd go once in a while and we'd go hunting during season with, you know, with our dads or go out. When it wasn't hunting season, he was figuring out where he was going hunting. He'd walk in the woods. He was in the woods every day. He was either practicing sports, working for chores or something for his dad and the family, which a lot of the kids did back home, you know, or he was in the woods. And that was what he did. And, Barry had this way of, even in my own family, he's a charmer. He would charm parents. My dad just loved him. My dad's passed away now. I mean, he would Barry this, Barry's this, Barry's doing this, and Barry, and Barry would do stuff. He would, build stuff, and he would, this is later. This is later after him and Suzanne were together. Barry's, got this. He had a deer farm. He was raising deer at their home in Indiana, raising deer.
To let them go, or
no, to sell them for release hunting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And so basically, he's raising the victims.
Correct.
Okay. Bless your family.
And I remember, thank you so much. Thank you. And I remember going out there. Well, the last times I went out, went to their home in Indiana. One of the times I went out, and I was like, Suzanne, I saw a bunch of deer in a pen out there. She goes, I know. He's got this deer farm. And she would roll her eyes, and chuckle. And, and I'm just like, oh, wow, that's cool. I mean, if he's making money off of it. I mean, I thought, that's how into this he was. I've gone hunting once with Barry. He took me out to, I was in town in Indiana, and I was talking to Suzanne, and Suzanne was like, hey, Barry, maybe Barry, you can go. I'll tell Barry to take you out. I'm like, I don't want to bug him, what I mean? He's like, no, get him out of the house, he'll go. And so he met me one morning and took me down and put me up, told me where to go in this deer stand. He said, there's this 12-pointer that's been walking along. And he goes, look, see these tracks? Look. And I know a little bit, okay? I know a little bit. This guy was like Daniel Boone. I mean, no kidding. Like, I know, I'm comfortable in the woods. I know what deer tracks are. I know how big they probably are. And I know, but he was showing me rubs. And he's like, so we're going to put you up here. And he was laser focused, man. Like there was no joking around, he was real excited. And I thought it was really nice of him to do this. So he puts me up and he disappears. But sure enough, I see these deer come out into the middle of the field, but they didn't quite come over. I waited to the end of the, afternoon, and he comes back. He says, oh, might as well just pack it up today. That's it. I'm like, okay. So the point being in all this, is that, at his house, he had a trophy room. You walk into his room and all the walls were mounted heads.
Was that down in the basement? I heard it was a museum.
Yeah, it's basically a museum. He was into taxidermy and into all that. And he was, and he would call my dad. Once he called my dad, he was up in Montana, elk hunting. And Dad had given him this, for Christmas, he had given him one of his, or not for Christmas, I think it was just, he had this and he gave it to Barry. It was a Garmin GPS. When those GPS first started coming out, the portable ones that you could take with you hunting and fishing. And so Barry was calling, said, Doc, call him Doc. How do you work this thing? I'm not, so he was, I think I'm lost. So he walked through, got him back to his truck. This is a man who can field dress a full-grown elk.
Okay, what does that mean? Help me
understand.
What does that mean?
That means you have this huge animal, and you're out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the point of killing the animal is to get the meat. So you got to skin, gut. You got to dress, skin the animal. You got to pack it up, if you don't have, which at this time he didn't, a four-wheeler, it's got to go on your back, Jack. And you gotta hump it back to camp. And then if you got more than one, you got to do it more than one trip because you don't want to waste the animal.
Right.
So he can do that for 2, 3, 4 miles. Strong as a bull, this guy. Always. Like this guy, strong. We have a saying back home, farm boy strong. And that's what he was. There is. I don't know, I just saw a photo of him recently. It looked like he'd shed about 50 pounds.
Yeah, the jail's not doing him real well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're down to peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on, some days.
Yeah.
And so let's stay on this track here. Let's break this down a little bit more. With those dynamics, let's go back to when you guys were teenagers again, real fast. Now, what was really interesting, one of the things I learned when I went to Indiana was, the letters that Barry, presented to the media when they were looking for Suzanne, and he was like, look at all these love letters. Well, those were letters that she had written years ago. And what was interesting is one of those letters, she talked about meeting him at the golf course, and, they would ride around, and, he would fix the sprinklers, and, she'd be basically in the golf cart with him. Okay. Do you know anything more about those kind of connections while their relationship started to blossom?
All I know is I do know that Suzanne was quite a bit younger than Barry.
Mm-hmm. Like 4 years.
But you got to understand that 4 years back then is bigger disparagement than 4 years now.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're talking high school, middle school.
Yep.
Or maybe, we're talking. So, I mean, that happens. It happens in small towns, in environments and communities, and cities too. So, but yeah, they would, it's a romantic picture. I mean, that was, he was working and this is the thing, like, this is part of the thing because of the history. I know the length of time they've known each other and the storybook that surrounds this mythos of high school sweetheart. And that was them. That was them. Okay? So it just goes like, wow, But what happens when the fantasy ends?
Yeah.
What happens when the real world knocks on the door? I do know this. Everything that I could see on the surface, whatever I saw, it always seemed that he treated her and the girls good. But there was no mistake that it was the Barry show. And even
unpack that. What do you mean?
Yeah, well, as a kid, I was talking to another friend of mine. I'm not going to name his name, but who was really tight with Barry, and I'd gone and you go over to their house, and he's like, and it was so weird because as kids, you go to the house, and it was like Barry was like God. It was like Barry. Oh, Barry does this. Barry wants to do this. Barry, Barry, Barry. Back then, so that's just like shows you that he's put on a pedestal even as a kid, and then he went on to play baseball, and he went on to the Blue Jays farm team, Toronto Blue Jays. And then he got injured. But the injured I don't know about. I've heard two different things. I've heard he just quit. But I imagine, but I've asked him about, because I was like, wow, how's it going? How's it going? You're gonna get the show. I'm a huge baseball fan. I played, school, and it was like, show. He's like, yeah, well, got hurt. And then he went to Purdue University and got a degree, and then it's just he did all the right moves, but it's just certain people in life he has screwed over business-wise. He's got a bad reputation business-wise. Yep. He'll go along to get along, and then he doesn't have any use for you.
Yeah, I heard he had some accidents too in certain cities, and he filed claims, and et cetera, and got cash payouts from municipalities. One of the shocking things that I was surprised is the house that he took the mortgage over from that elderly gentleman, and then ultimately ended up sending him out the back. And so no, he burned all, and that was one of the things that we learned from Suzanne's girlfriend, that she was embarrassed and wanted to kind of move on to get out of there, but at the same time it was more of his idea versus hers, because she was still recovering from the cancer, and she was raising the girls there, and she seemed very, very content. And I have a picture of him, how he loaded up his trailer, and the day they left. I have 2 photographs of the day they left, and when they piled it all on. And quite frankly, I have to be frank with you, it looked like the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
Well, I'll show you, but behind the scenes, but it goes towards this behavioral analysis side of criminal behavior analysis, where, to your point, on one front, okay, Barry is obviously, I'm no psychologist, but, he fits a narcissistic personality, times 5.
Yes.
Okay. Number one. And number two, when we look at how he has been raised, okay, the drive that his father had about him. I talked to, probably one of his, it is his closest friend that he's ever had. And he told me straight up, he said, look, he said, Barry always had somebody with him just because he needed somebody with him, not a girl, but a boy, and that nobody ever broke up. No girl has ever broke up with Barry, ever. Barry always ended the relationships. And when you think about that, one of the things that I thought was most fascinating, did you know about the raccoon story? Have you heard about that?
Oh, how quickly he can skin a raccoon?
Yeah, so share that with the audience if you remember.
Well, I just know that he was, and I did this too for a while. It's back in the day, you could go raccoon hunting, and the skins were worth about $35 for a good pelt. So I had friends that had dogs, so you can go, but he could skin a raccoon. What was it, 12 seconds, Chris? Or something like that.
It's 27 seconds.
27 seconds, and and that's not easy to do, man. And this goes to just show the proficiency, how good he is at these tasks, how good he is at, and yes, this is hunting, yes, this is skinning, yes, but see, this is a thing that was in my mind this whole time is everybody is innocent until proven guilty, I understand. Sure. But if there is anybody that has the skills to do this, to do this act, to cover up this act in the fashion that needs to be done, hike up into a woods in Colorado in the middle of the night, he's the guy that can do it.
Yeah, there's
Let's
no
just
question
say
about that. Yeah,
the abilities are there. That doesn't mean, I'm just saying the abilities are there, without a doubt.
Yeah, he was. There's, from my perspective as well. Remember, law enforcement, develops probable cause, right? Is there probable cause for an arrest? Okay, so I would have loved nothing more than to put a set of bracelets on that guy, and drop him off over a county and let the court system take care of him, because I was early on in this thing, and I think I was in Barry's head for the last 8 or 9 months, and that's exactly where I wanted to be honest with you, and because I knew how dangerous he was, and because obviously this isn't my first rodeo. No. But in this particular job, meaning being a homicide guy, and I'm still working with the Cold Case Foundation. We're still catching these guys, okay, in the Cold Case Foundation. The PD hooks them up, but we're helping them. And this is the only job where you get to hunt hunters. Okay. So I knew that, if this guy gets away with this, okay, then, I wanted to prepare just in case, he was able to walk away. But I got to tell you, what we're just seeing now is what the DA is going to drop here, Linda Stanley. We're already seeing some horrific language about the charges that he's charged with. Desecration of a body, mutilation of a body. I mean, it's like, okay, well, and to your point then is, where is this guy, right? Up here. Where is this guy? And then when you look at how he packed the truck and left Indiana, I don't know if his eggs were already getting scrambled.
Yeah, because man, I mean, it's next level stuff we're talking about here. It's one thing to lose your temper and fight with your wife. It's one thing to, come on. I mean, it's a completely other thing to do the act. Okay, then let's say you've done the deed, the horrible deed that you've done. Then it's next level stuff after that.
Absolutely. That's called mens rea. Guilty mind.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, okay, oh my God, I did this. But now I've got to go and hide this. And now I have to pretend that I didn't do this. And now I have to never give in that I had anything, and I got to cover my track. And this is just next level stuff. In order, I mean, Chris Watt, he cracked. They cracked him. They got him. He hasn't cracked. He's still on his, as far as I know, and I got the feeling that he's all, like I said to you earlier, he's all in with his chips.
Yeah. No, and remember, Chris Watts, his dad cracked him when his father came into the interview and put his hand on his shoulder, and he tells his father what happened. Right?
That's true.
Yeah. Barry is so cunning. And that's Barry's song. They're playing it behind you. It's kind of an interesting sound. I love it. The idea that he's a chameleon. Okay? This is what makes Barry Morphew so dangerous. Is he's able to project this public and private persona so well and hide the secret life. Okay? We live three lives: our public, our private, and our secret life.
Yeah, that was a very interesting thing. Yeah.
And that predatorial behavior in that secret life is what was developed on the baseball field, through high school, in the deer stand, in the hunting stand. But then, it's one thing to be a hunter. You're a hunter. I know a lot of hunters, okay? But they hunt for a purpose. They hunt for food, or sometimes it's the sport. But at the same time, and I'm not a hunter, by the way, just for full disclosure.
Well, I will say this: the older I get, the harder it kind of is. The less interested I am in killing animals.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time watching my Jack Russell bark at squirrels.
Yeah.
But that's just me, and I'm, go figure. But that said, he took it to another level as a young kid. I mean, he's trapping raccoons, skinning them in 27 seconds, and he was packing them out, like you said, okay? And that behavior just kind of kept driving itself. So one of the interesting things that I discovered while talking to his friends was how much of an influence did his father play in driving him, okay? In driving him. Did you see any of those dynamics?
Sure. again, most of the guys were now a couple of years older than Barry in the class, but he was a sports-minded father, and a lot of guys would go over, and he just was a driven guy. He was a driven guy. He molded his son. Yeah.
And Trey Latina, thank you. She says, thank you so much for speaking.
Thank you for everybody for thinking of Suzanne and keeping this relevant.
The reason I want to talk about him, quite frankly, so much is because I know where the defense is going to go here. They're going to paint him as the victim. Okay.
So what? The victim of what?
Well,
of what? What could they possibly have?
Well, his dad. Okay. If there's, they're gonna paint that, his childhood potentially, and what I want to do is get ahead of it. Okay. And what I mean by that is what I learned about Barry, okay, is, this guy had a very slick chameleon personality. And this is what your sister, God bless you, Thomas. I mean, and forgive me for being,
what she fell in love with?
Well, no, what she fell in love with is that guy that you knew, your dad liked, and the rest of the family liked, okay? But when these pressure points would come on, triggers, or when hunting season was coming, remember, everything's about that for Barry, okay? Suzanne just becomes, quite frankly, she becomes an object to the goal, okay? And I'll guarantee you, and correct me if I'm wrong, there were times in that relationship, if you know them, where he would say, I'm leaving. Whether you don't have a choice, I'm hunting. I'm out of here. Okay. Now, I talked to a lot of her girlfriends, and they told me that. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So now you look at that circle of the domestic, the domestic
power wheel.
Yeah, they're exactly. The power wheel, exactly. Very good. Okay. You look at that power wheel, and then you start thinking about, okay, how does this guy play that wheel? And how well does he play it? And he had a lot of people, snookered, bamboozled, and so, in order for justice to come for Suzanne, God bless you, because it's your family that tells her side of the story. So let's focus on, you talk about how warm she is, how kind she is, how considerate she is. What was it like, just having Suzanne as your sister in terms of hanging out with?
It was great, I mean, and the thing about Suzanne that was so great is, I mean, one of her favorite things was whenever we would talk is, I would tell her all about my fiascos out here in Los Angeles, my screw ups, whenever for some reason, she's the person I could make light of a screw up once I've gotten away from it. And or just the whole, we like to make fun of some of the people out here in Hollywood. And she was also interested. Yeah, Hollywood. And she was also interested in whenever she saw me she would social media me. Hey, I just saw you in Google Eyes, and she saw my Audi commercial and her national commercial, and then she would, and giggle and but our relationship got a little tighter after her mom passed away. My dad passed away first, her stepdad, my dad, and then her mom a couple of years later, and then we would talk, not a whole bunch, but when we did, it was quality time. It was good, and to get her laughing is one of my favorite things, because she has this belly laugh, and and her mom was the same way. Her mom would get laughing. It's just, so you could hear it's funny, and my stepmom, I would talk about my fiascos out here, and whatever, and I was up for this part, I didn't get it. Oh, you'll get the next. It's okay. You know what I mean? And just in general, just big city life, talking back, back home, And she was, I could tell her anything. I could tell Susie anything. With no judgment.
You called her Susie.
Yeah, Susie. Suzanne. Susie.
Yeah. No, that's endearing.
But she never judged and just like try to look at the bright side of things and keep the faith and hey, you're following your dream and that means a lot. That means a lot to somebody who I've rolled the dice in life. I've rolled the dice to come out here. It's not easy doing what I try to do. And, my family's been very supportive, my whole family. And I'm very lucky for that. And she's one of those people.
Yeah.
After a certain point, it's like, how long are you going to keep doing the acting thing? It's not like I made it, but.
Everybody thinks you look like Robert De Niro, too, by the way. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I do the De Niro person.
There you go.
Yeah. What time?
Did she ever tease you? Did she tease you about that?
Yeah, I did it for her a couple of times. Yeah, she would laugh. I've actually met him. He's a nice guy. But yeah, so that was our relationship. It's pretty much, I didn't talk to her. I didn't get to talk to her on the phone a whole lot since she went to Colorado. I'll be honest. It wasn't like we talked every day or anything. But she would, my ex-girlfriend Tracy, she would, unfortunately we're not together anymore, but she would, thank you, Anna. She would text her a lot too. She was just friendly with everybody. Everybody loved her. And here we are. And my heart goes out to Andrew and Melinda.
Yeah, you talked to them recently. I know they share some of, and I talked to Andy, as you know. It's just, they're at a point where it's just, they've done what they can do. And, once this arrest was made, I think that it kind of crossed another bar. And it's a reality breakfast, man. It's just a reality check. Every day, every morning you wake up and you realize, there's going to be another one. Hopefully there'll be another one where we find her. Yeah. And bring her home. And then we can properly, because look, I'm going to tell you something. Okay. I've said this and Andrew and Melinda's number one goal is to bring Suzanne home. Yep. I'm confident in saying it. Everybody wants justice. You believe me. Okay, that's my goal too. But where I differ from them maybe is I'm a lot less forgiving of a human being. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's because I'm out here now, but there is no kumbaya for me and Barry Morphew. There is no forgiveness from me. And there never will be. Because if it's proven that you have actually done this and you have taken this bright light, this beautiful soul and mother of your children, how effing dare you? On top of it, you deny it. And you don't even have the courage to admit it. So you can ease up the pain. If it comes out, which I think it's going to, proving that you did this, there's a special place for you, my friend. That's my message to you. There's a special place for you. Sorry. Rita asked Thomas, did you ever suspect domestic violence between Suzanne and Barry?
No, I didn't. I'll be honest, there was not that I knew of in the family. It was never told to me. I did know that, he was controlling. I'm sure. Look at voting for her.
Yeah.
People think that that's not a big deal. I want to make this clear, okay, guys? This is, look, okay. Well, she was going to vote for him anyway. He just, I don't care who you like or who you vote for. That's a sacred right. And while your wife is missing, you sign her ballot and you vote. And then you come across saying, well, I didn't think it was wrong. I thought I could do it for my spouse. I didn't think that was what your missing spouse. You think that's okay? Come on, man. That's weird. That's creepy weird.
I think the world agrees with you, and thank you, Nicole. I want you to recognize that I'm watching the chat go by here, Thomas. They love your family.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'm sorry if I got a little angry, but
no, you're fine. You have every right to have those feelings. That's number one. Okay, I mean, and as this thing goes forward, each of you, I know Andy, Melinda, your other brothers, Mike, and all the other family members. I got to meet a lot of your family. And Dahlia James, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dahlia.
Grateful. And you're top shelf. The family's top shelf. I mean, there's, every family has dynamics, right?
Sure.
Who doesn't have dynamics? But at the same time, I got, there's another piece of this that, he has taken, a bright part of the world out here. And Suzanne was a bright light in the world.
She was.
And she has that spirit about her.
I'm saying truly. I mean, I can't reiterate this enough. Look, I know you hear it from the people in the audience. I know you hear this. People tend to be eloquent and use puffery when they're describing individuals of the past, and oh, isn't it tragic? And well, they probably weren't that nice. But no, like really, I cannot emphasize this enough. I'm like a loser compared to Suzanne Morphew.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even. She's way out of my league as far as what she's done that's good. Like, we could all try to be like her. And that's not what she would want to hear. She would downplay all of it. She had not-for-profit for underprivileged people. She volunteered for domestic shelters. I mean, this is a woman who used her time, besides raising her kids, to help other people. It's just not fair, man. I know life isn't fair, right? I mean, Chris and I talked about this. It's just not. It's just that doesn't play into the scenario. But
yeah, Sophie says we all support you, Thomas. God bless.
Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, everybody out there. And I said this on the other show, on Mike's show. It's like, if you know somebody that's in a tough spot, and you're their friend, and they're having some serious problems, and they're afraid, and they feel like they're in danger, help them out. Try to help them get out of that, because it's the best thing that you can do.
Well, and I think the evidence is going to be pretty clear here. She was laying the foundation of a lifeline for her.
I think so.
We're going to let that play out in a court of law.
Okay.
So we'll just kind of leave that there. But
right.
But here to your point, and it's very wise counsel for anybody, and everybody knows. And folks, if you're just joining with us, Thomas Owen here is not only Suzanne's stepbrother, but family member, and he's been gracious enough to come on today to talk about her and some of the family dynamics, and just kind of bring a bright light into the world again, to discuss Suzanne's heart and talk about some of the dynamics that he observed within the family, i.e. Suzanne and Barry, and then some of the things that he recognizes since this post-incident, so let's take some questions, Thomas. So
sure.
Let's are you okay with that? Are you up for that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so D-Man in the back room, and guys and gals, go ahead. We got a lot of folks up here. Go ahead and throw some questions up here if you've got it. And you folks know me. First of all, thank you to all of our mods. I love each of you. And then simultaneously, if I don't get to your question, please forgive me. It's not intentional. It's just things start flying by here and I just want to make sure that we can grab some of them here. So here we go. Pink Lady, thank you, Thomas. How are her children, if you know?
I don't know. That's a good question, Pink Lady. Thank you. I don't know how her children are. I know that I heard they're staying with a friend or something. I honestly, I do not know. Of course, our side of the family, we have nothing but love for Macy and Mallory. It's just like, let's be clear, like we want them to be okay, and this has got to be just horrific for them.
Yeah. Pauline asks, does anyone know where Barry will be tried?
That's in your corner, Chris. I don't know. I imagine it's going to be Colorado. I don't know.
He'll
Denver?
be tried
No.
in Colorado. I won't be surprised.
Federal court?
Well, no, he'll be tried in state court. But what some of the maneuvering could be is,
change of venue.
Try to change a venue. Yeah, they'll try to push it towards Denver.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Which I don't know. Jan, aka JRS, says, Thomas, did Barry ever allow Suzanne to confide in you about her marriage issues? That's a great question.
It is a good question. Thanks for that. Did Barry ever allow Suzanne to confide in you? No. Well, I don't know if he ever allowed it or not. I don't think he. I don't think he would ever be thrilled about that. And Suzanne never did confide in anything about marriage. She seemed, whenever I would ask, she seemed that she was happy. But again, Suzanne didn't want to make waves. So,
how long can they hold the arrest affidavit? I think you'll see the arrest affidavit before the prelim. Rita asked, I think the night she disappeared, Barry's life was going to be very different very soon. Suzanne was fed up with his baloney. BS. Suzanne Morphew wasn't stupid. I totally agree. That could be a very real possibility, Rita. Thank you so much.
Yeah, she wasn't stupid, Rita. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Maureen asked, I hope Barry confesses and tells Ellie where Suzanne is. Love to Thomas and Suzanne's family.
Thank you. I hope so too, but I got to be honest with you. In my opinion, he never will. Sorry, I know that's harsh, and I know people don't want to hear that, but I pray. That's our prayer. Let's just put it that way. I hope he does too.
Yeah. Diane asked, Thomas, will you be going to any of the court dates?
I haven't decided on that yet. I was thinking about this next one. I'm in Los Angeles. I don't know with the COVID laws and the family. I'd have to find out. I don't have a problem with sitting right across from him and staring him in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with that, but I don't know if I will be or not.
Did you ever, Albie asked, Thomas, did you ever see Barry's temper out of control? Or control?
No, I've never seen him lose it. I've heard stories of it. And the only control thing that I saw once was when I was at their house when I first came over, and we were laughing in the kitchen, and it's not really an overt control. We were being very loud and laughing. He came in and kind of leaned in and real close to Suzanne, kind of looked at me like, what's everybody laughing at? And I don't know, in hindsight, I don't know if it was just him, what's everybody laughing at, but the energy, her energy just shifted, just, yeah. So kind of sucked the life out of her. Oh my God, Mary Flowers, I love you so much. Oh my God, this girl, this wonderful girl I went to grade school with, she's out in Mississippi. Dear friend of mine, hi Mary. Did I suspect? I love you too, Mary. We go way back. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You suspected Barry from the beginning. Duty Ron asked, and thanks for being here, Mary. We're grateful for you. Ron asked, Thomas, does anyone know if Barry took steroids while he was playing ball before going to semi-pro or after? Love and respect for your entire family.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't think he had to.
Yeah, I heard he was built solid.
Built like a brick house.
Solid.
Always, just genetically. I don't think he ever had to. I don't know if he did or not, but I don't think he had to.
And I saw Sophia asked, I saw a question go by earlier. Do you think this was premeditated?
That's a good question. I don't know yet. And by premeditated, in the sense of, I know I'm going to do this and I'm planning it, but it sure seems that way. I mean, come on. I mean, this is a lot of detail. This is a lot you got to do to get ready to do this. You at least have had to think about it. I would think, but I don't know. I don't know if he did it. If he did it, I don't know if he did it. If it was a snap issue, oh my God, or if it's, I'm going to have to do this.
Yeah. So Only Love Lemons AMI asked, has it been a thought after the trial that anyone will be making a DV foundation in Suzanne's name? Have you guys been discussing that as a family?
Only Love Lemons, I don't know if I know that was one of Suzanne's passions. And I think that there couldn't be a more nobler cause than that. I think it's a serious issue in our society. And I think that that's a wonderful, beautiful idea. And I will, that's something that I will bring to the table if anybody wants to listen to what I have to say about it.
That's fantastic. Did you ever see, Shelby Moten asked, did you ever see them being affectionate with each other or loving towards each other?
Absolutely.
And how was that interaction? What meaning? Was it
very kept her close?
Typical, yeah.
Very kept her close. Okay. And that's the thing. Like on the surface, I got to tell you, man. I mean, it's like the loving couple. It's like these two beautiful people. I mean, they couldn't have cast it any better. If you were doing a movie out here in Hollywood about the high school romance growing up, and that's that. The blonde, beautiful, beautiful. She was a beautiful person. Anyway, besides her physical beauty.
Interesting. Rose asked, Thomas, do you think, did you talk to Barry after your sister went missing?
No, I tried to. The first day, I texted him through Facebook because I didn't have his new number, and I got no response. And the text was, my text was, Barry, I'm so sorry to hear what's happened. If there's anything I could do, anything that you need from me, you just let me know. Because all I know is I got home, I got a call from my friend. Did you hear about Suzanne? What? She's missing. What? Since Mother's Day. What? Yeah. So
you never got a response back?
No. Now, granted, it was through Facebook Messenger, so I don't know how much he was on that, but I never got a response back.
What about the Andy's friends and all your friends? Were any of your friends friended by Suzanne allegedly on Facebook, post incident?
Yeah, and I know through a reliable source.
Yeah, I know where you're going. But go ahead.
The night, it was a Friday night, or the night she was missing at midnight, or the Saturday night at midnight, or Friday night, one of those of the weekend. Somebody got on her phone and Facebook requested friends of a bunch of guys my age and my stepbrother's age, who's older than me, in a chain requesting friends. That's not my stepsister.
About how many?
I don't know. There was a lot. I heard there's a lot. I don't have an exact number because I want to be careful with this. But I didn't have an exact number. I just know it was a lot. And I do know that at the same time, her friend who she was helping plan a wedding didn't get a response back from a Facebook message.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that? You're gonna be on Facebook, right? And I'm gonna. Oh, Chris requested me. Oh, and we went to school together. And or girls. It would be girls because it was the other way around. Like all these guys. So I'm yeah. Request friend here. Oh, my friend just called me about the wedding. Oh, I'll talk to her later. Let me get back to this. No, and I don't understand that.
So this leads into Maui Girl's question. Any red flags before her disappearance that you knew of?
No, not really. Not the typical police call for domestic violence issues, or God, they're screaming or any kind of. But again, they kind of, when they went to Colorado, for me anyway, it was kind of a separation. Now, with Melinda and Andrew, I know that they talk, but I don't think so. No, and this next question is I think Barry might have a beer once in a while. Definitely wasn't a drug guy. He was an athlete. That doesn't mean anything, just being an athlete. But as far as I knew, no. No, he was not. Yeah.
Thank you. Shelby, when was last time you were able to speak or see Suzanne?
Last time I spoke to her was via, she texted me. She's texted, I don't know if I still have it. She said, "Look who I found." It was my high school yearbook picture with my hair going. Do you still have
the text? Can you share the text? Would you mind?
I mean, it was an Instagram.
Okay.
I think this was like 2019. So it's a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I find it, I'll share it. But I know that. Yeah.
But you guys were in communication. I know that.
Yeah. Mostly, in communication on social media and like I said before, she would communicate with my my ex-girlfriend Tracy quite a bit.
Yeah, they became pretty close pretty quickly, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They did. She was that kind of person, Just, hello, how you doing? How's, dogs and girl stuff, whatever.
Well, she's checking up on you whenever you know how that rolls. The gals in our lives take care of us, and she just wants.
This next, Mika Kiyomi, hi, how are you? I don't know the answer to this. I don't know the answer to that, if that was true or not. I'm sorry.
Yep.
If it was, I would tell you, but I don't know.
So here's one from Duty Ron. Do you want to take that also, Tom?
Yeah, Duty Ron. This one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was. And I'm trying to put it into context of the pandemic. You're all sheltered in, and the girls wanted to go, and chance to go through the church, camping. Then they're going to come back and celebrate Mother's Day. So maybe it wasn't this big of a deal. Maybe everybody just wanted. But I thought it was a bit odd and a bit convenient that girls were gone. He's got a job. Cameras didn't work at the house. Bike ride.
You believe the bike ride occurred?
No, I do not.
And you guys have been on that from the very beginning as a family.
I don't think she ever got on her bike. I think the bike was taken and thrown across the ravine by him, and then the helmet was planted later, or at the same time, or whatever. That's part of the tampering of the evidence. That's the world. That's my theory. There's no proof of that. I have no. It's pure speculation on my part.
Emma has one here for you as well, Thomas.
Anyone from the girls? No. I don't know if they know more, Emma, and would they see her catch on to change in their dad? That's a good question. I had that question myself, but again, I don't know the answer to that. And all we can do is let them know that everybody in the family loves them, and we're always here for them, regardless. So I don't have the answer.
Lee, do we know if Suzanne ever spoke to her closest friends about Barry and his behaviors that would shed some light if she was worried or fear of him?
I don't know if she spoke to her friends. I know that she had spoken to Melinda that Friday about something.
Yeah.
Via text. I don't know what that is because Melinda's not shared that with me, or I don't think any of the other family members. But I do know that there was a text that evidently Melinda stated publicly. I'm not sharing anything that wasn't already out there.
And it was a very alarming.
A very illuminating text, or somehow she said it's some adjective. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not that I know of. No, Annie. Thank you. No. But of course, we all need to remember this. There's two sides of this problem or tragedy.
Did you know Barry's sisters?
Yeah.
Tell us about those dynamics. What?
Incredible women. Incredible women. Just incredible, beautiful people.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolutely top-notch human beings.
What's your read on how do you think they're going to respond? You think they're going to pull away from him, or you think they're going to pull towards him, or do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough call, man. I mean, it's your family, it's your blood, right? Yeah. I imagine they're going to try to help him in any way they can. because that's the kind people they are. I love them. They're great people. There's, you know, it's just
So,
sad.
Tommy, here's another one here from Bridie Bell.
Mhm.
You know, about the statue from his mother that Barry placed where the bike was. What did it mean to?
Yeah, I feel bad. I don't know the answer to these questions. I don't know. Statue from his mother that Barry placed where the bike was found. What did that mean to his mother?
So there was a
I don't know.
there was a statue that was given when Suzanne's mom died. It was one of her precious pieces, and somehow it ended up recently over where the bicycle was discovered. And there's a lot of speculation, you know, how it got there. You know, some think it was the girls, some think it was Barry's. But do you know anything about the statue and the significance of it? Okay, that's good. A great question, though. Thank you so much.
It is a great question. Thank you.
Justice, it's great seeing you. Isn't it ironic that Trevor and Barry put the bike picture of Suzanne in the beginning when she was missing to go along with the bike narrative? Yeah, well, let's talk about Trevor. Nobody really talks about Trevor. Do you know much about Trevor?
I don't know much about Trevor at all. In fact, I was like, who is this guy? Who is Trevor? And again, I'm old. I'm an old man. I don't know. You know, I'm like, who is this guy and why? What is he talking about? You know, why is he?
Barry's side, right? That's
yeah. Why? What? You know. But again, what we have to remember is this was brand new. Now we have some hindsight. This was brand new, but you know, I don't know why he was. You know, and God bless him. I don't know Trevor. You know, and this is, you know, obviously he's family, and you know, he has every right to be concerned and everything that, you know, and so I wish the best for him. I just didn't. I wasn't familiar. I'd never met Trevor, so.
Yeah. So his mom owned the house next to Barry because they were brother and sister.
Right.
And, you know, and so everybody understands, folks, Thomas's dad marries Suzanne's mom. So they are stepbrother and sister. And that actually occurred while you guys were in high school, and you're a little bit older.
This was the 90s. Yeah. This was in the 90s at college. Yeah.
Yep. So that's where those dynamics are. Well, Albie, how's your family holding up through all of this mayhem? What a great question. Thank you.
Thanks, Will Albie. Yeah, we're holding up. They're holding up. They're super strong. It's just, again, thank you for the love and the prayers sign there. And just want to bring her home, man. I just want to bring her home. We just want to bring her home. Yeah, thank you.
So, Dale, let's also put up some of the other. I'm seeing, you know, some other questions in here that are coming in. Not so. Yeah, there you go. How long did they live in that house in Indiana? Do you remember?
I don't know the exact amount of years. No.
I know they moved into the one in Colorado in 2019.
2019. They were there for quite a few years. The one in Hamilton County. Yeah.
Kathleen Harris, thank you. Did Barry ever go on a search with anyone for her that you're aware of?
I heard that he went on it with a couple of his buddies and somebody that was supposed to be an Army Ranger.
Yeah, that was the first couple of.
Yeah, that was the first couple of. I don't know who that is, but maybe, you know.
His name is George.
Okay, so George, thank you for your service.
He wasn't an Army Ranger for 400 tours, so just FYI on that. Okay.
Okay.
You know, save it for somebody that did service.
I was being facetious.
I'm teasing. I love it.
But I know that he supposedly searched a lot on his own, you know, which I just found weird.
Yeah. Did Suzanne ever talk about why they moved to Colorado?
Yeah, she mentioned to me that, you know, that it's the girls were going to go to one of the girls was going to go to school there, perhaps, and you know, it was out in the open. And Barry loved it. You know, it was a change. Mountains of Colorado. You know, it was a big, exciting thing. You know, but I don't think it became as exciting and fun anymore after a while. I don't know. She may have loved it. I'm not going to disparage the town or anything. Town's great. People are great there. They've been so supportive, by the way. Thank you, Salida and Maysville and all the people there. that are that have helped in this, and I just think that they moved there for a change, and Barry liked to hunt.
Yeah, that was about the place, right?
Yeah.
That was, yeah. Louisiana Girl, are the Morphew family standing beside him in this? I haven't heard much from that side. Love and healing to you and everything, and everything that Suzanne has ever touched. How sweet is that?
Thank you, Louisiana Girl. I miss my Louisiana right now. I do. I was there for a while. Are the Morphew family standing beside him in this? I don't know. I haven't heard anything from that side. I don't know if there's any communication going on between camps or not. I don't think so.
Yeah, when I talked to Andy, too,
I don't think so.
I got to give it to your family. You guys are a class act. Again, every time I've ever talked to anybody on your side of the family, you are very complimentary of Barry's side of the family.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, it's nothing. There's no like Hatfield McCoy thing going on here.
But it's not reciprocating though from, but that's, maybe people are grieving and maybe at some point they'll cross over. So Emma asked, all of us love and support you, Thomas, and the whole family. Love and support from everyone who loves Suzanne.
Thank you so much, Emma Adele. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. And if you're just joining us, also Tom, he's an actor. So tell everybody just real quick. Well, we've got a lot of people in here all around the world. You have done NCIS.
NCIS, NOLA, NCIS, People versus O.J. Simpson. I was on a short-lived web series that was on a Go 90 network, and the millennials and the kids will know what that was. It's now defunct. I was on that. I've done Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives. Just little co-star parts, little guest star, co-star. I did a movie with Dolph Lundgren, really bad, really kind of, I want to say bad. It's just hokey.
Was Suzanne proud of you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. She was so supportive.
That's awesome.
God bless you for doing your dreams, Tommy. Way to go. Yeah. But I can only answer a few more questions.
Okay.
I have to go here pretty soon. I'm sorry about that.
Got it. We'll grab, let's say 4 or 5 more, and we'll call it a night. Lala film scene. Where is Barry's family?
I don't know.
They're in
Alexandria.
Indiana.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, her mom's back there, and so is his sisters.
Yeah.
And one of the sisters may be in a different state, though. Lynn, when is the trial? That will be determined. There's a hearing coming up on the 27th. From there, they're going to argue bond, probably. My bet's going to be this new defense attorneys are going to try to get him on bond. That ain't going to happen, so don't, mark my words on that. They're not going to let this guy out. Louisiana Girl again. Oh, goodness, I didn't mean a separate camp situation.
Oh, no. No, I know you did in Louisiana Girl. No, that was probably a poor choice of words on my part. No, I don't know. I don't know why they're not communicating, to be honest. Or if they are, I don't know about it.
So there's one other question here that's did you know when the landline and the securities was disconnected?
No.
Okay. Did you find that interesting when you learned about that?
Yeah, I did.
Question. Did Barry take out life insurance on her when they found she had cancer for the second time?
I don't know the answer to that either, but I'm sure that they had life insurance already. I don't know. I don't know the particulars of that part of their relationship.
Okay.
Sorry,
so,
you're asking some really good questions. It's just these questions are kind of intimate, and like some of them are like, I don't know how I would know that, but I appreciate them.
So Jessica Shades, and we'll wrap it up on this one. What do you think? So
Sure.
My prayers are with you and yours.
Thank you.
What a great, Thomas, first of all, let me say this on behalf of the interview room and all of our members and everybody that's in this chat. I hope I'm speaking, clearly about how much we appreciate and love and support your family.
Thank you.
Everybody has been in this from day one, and we only want the best for you, for all of your family members, and then, of course, for justice for Suzanne. And I think this community is a perfect example of how you know, we can be patient now, let the court system take its course, but simultaneously support you guys the best that we can. So I want to thank you for being here tonight, and I'm grateful to get to know you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody out there who supported Suzanne. And please, see if I could light a candle if you could, just for some positive thoughts. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I apologize, I gotta go, folks, but I had a dinner planned this evening, and
no.
So
go eat dinner.
I'm so sorry about that, and but thank you so much.
You're good. You're good. So, Dill, keep me on. Thomas, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Chris.
We'll catch you in a little bit. Okay.
All right.
Bud.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. I'll wrap it up. So, Dill.
Hard working every day. I'm stressed out 24/7, babe. No timeouts. Wish we could fly away. You and I go to our favorite place. Oh yeah. Make special memories together. I'll be your company now and forever. I say we fly away. You and me go to our favorite place. Feeling the sun on my face in Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. I need a summer breeze